Now yes, everything that you can do with the small size head-up display is clever, but its overall features are not what makes this head-up display so interesting. And no, before you say it, it's not the device's unusual shape either, but that is interesting. It's actually how this head-up display has been designed to be mounted and used at any angle that you want to use it at. It's true, the P8 can actually be installed on its left-hand side, on its right-hand side, flat on your dashboard horizontally, just like any other head-up display, and even upside down. No, this is definitely not a feature I have ever seen with a head-up display before, that's for sure. Okay, so believe it or not, no, this is not some type of strange, unidentified object that has fallen out of the sky, such as maybe a part that has fallen off an alien spaceship as it's been passing by, or something like that. Even though it might look like it. But no, it's actually just another head-up display. However, I bet there's a really good chance that a lot of you are looking at this right now and thinking, that's a head-up display. Okay, that is quite possibly the ugliest looking head-up display I have ever seen in my entire life. But there's actually a really good reason for its, let's not call it ugly, but unique and different looks. And that reason is because this head-up display has actually been designed to be mounted and installed to the A-pillar of your car. So for example, something like that. So yes, you just install this head-up display to the A-pillar trim that goes down the side of your front windscreen. So this is definitely different, but it's a design feature I actually do really like as well. Apart from one problem. Unless your car is left-hand drive or has a really wide right-hand A-pillar trim, it may not look that great because, as you might be able to see on camera, it doesn't actually fit very well. It overhangs the edge of the A-pillar trim by quite a bit. So this is the problem that I have with this head-up display on my right-hand drive Alfa Romeo. However, if your car does have a wider A-pillar trim on the right hand side, then it's going to look really good if it's mounted to the right hand side. And in my opinion, it's also a really convenient place to install a head-up display as well. Now you might be thinking, but how do you mount it to the actual A-pillar trim itself? And well, I personally would use either adhesive Velcro on the back, although in this hot summer weather that's probably not a good idea because it's probably just going to fall off anyway. But the other option you could do is use this, which is a Velcro strap that is supplied with the head-up display. So you use this to tie the head-up display to the A-pillar trim itself. So yeah, you might just need to get a little bit creative with the installation when it comes to doing this part. But in my case, I don't want to, as I have no intention of keeping this head-up display in my car. And not because it's a bad product, because it's actually a really good head-up display. But basically, just because it doesn't fit my car's right-hand A-pillar trim very well, and this is a right-hand drive car. Because the A-pillar trim is clearly not wide enough. If it did, I would probably attach it using a hidden nut and bolt, probably on the back here, because in my opinion that would probably look more professional than if it was attached using this Velcro strap. Now, yes, my car is right-hand drive, not left-hand drive, but there's no need for disappointment because technically speaking, this head-up display has been designed to be able to work with both right-hand drive and left-hand drive cars, even though technically speaking, it may be designed for left-hand drive cars more than right-hand drive cars. In actual fact, due to the shape of it, it actually fits to my left-hand A-pillar pretty much perfectly, and I really do like the look of it. Just give you a closer look. I've just got it Velcroed there at the moment, so that's where you can see that gap there. But if you come around the side, it's a perfect fit as well, up the top there. So yeah, it looks great on the left-hand A-pillar. But of course, it is not practical to mount a head-up display on the passenger side of any vehicle. But if your car is left-hand drive, I do have to agree it will be a lot better fit on my left-hand A-pillar than it will be on the right. So this is good news for you lefties. But what if you don't want to install and mount it to your A-pillars at this angle at all, and you'd prefer to mount it to your dashboard instead? Well, the good news is you can. Okay, so no, it's not the best looking head-up display when mounted at this angle, but you can still do it if you want to. In fact, you can even mount it upside down to your roof as well, if you want to. Yes, the supplied power cable is very long in length, so it does cater for all of these different installation angles. Now you might be sitting there right now thinking, but that's impossible to mount the head-up display at all these different angles, because it's obviously going to mean that the LCD display screen itself will be upside down or at the wrong angle to what you have the head-up display mounted to. But no, it actually wouldn't be. And that is because this head-up display has also been designed with a very clever feature, and that feature is a rotatable head-up display screen. No, it is not automated, as you've just seen. When I turn the head-up display, the display screen position does not change. It does need to be manually done. However, when you do that manually, as I will do now, so back into settings, and then come down to screen angle. It's set at 180 degrees at the moment for this angle, and oops, and if I change that, as you can see, it changes the angle of the display as well. So if I wanted to mount it upside down like this, I can. If I wanted to mount it on my dashboard like this, I can. And if I wanted to mount it onto the left hand A-pillar like this, I can. So yeah, that is pretty cool. I bet you have never seen a head-up display that you can do that with before. So then, what is this head-up display? Yes, so this is the P8 head-up display. It's actually both OBD2 and GPS controlled, but it gets its power source from the OBD2 port regardless of the mode you decide to use it in, and that's just because the power cable it's supplied with is an OBD2 type power cable. If I unplug that now, I'll be able to show you. And here it is here. So yeah, you just plug this into the OBD2 port to power up the device. Now, of course, using it as an OBD2 controlled head-up display will also result in you being provided with more features to use it as well, as all OBD2 controlled head-up displays always have more functionality than a GPS controlled head-up display does. And so, of course, this one is no different either. The P8 HUD also supports multiple languages as well. Well, actually, only 3 to be exact. And those are English, Chinese, and Taiwanese. But it has a lot of other various features as well, of course. The P8 also has a built-in manual controlled power switch as well, just on the side of the device here, that you can use to turn the device on and off yourself manually if you want to. So you just flick the switch backwards to turn it off, and then flick it forward again to turn it back on. But don't worry, this is still a head-up display that is controlled by your car's ignition as well. So yes, it does also automatically just turn on and off when you turn your car on and off. You don't have to use this manual power switch if you don't want to, but it is there if you do. And to be honest, it is a great feature to have as well with any OBD2 controlled head-up display. Not to mention a very rare one to find as well. Actually, this HUD also has a delayed shutdown time interval feature as well, which you can set between 10 seconds to 3 minutes. This is useful because it allows you to still view and operate the head-up display for a specific time period after the car has been turned off, if you need to. By default, it is set to 10 seconds from the time the car is switched off. Now this here is the P8 power connection port itself, and no, it's not a USB-C connector, but it doesn't need to be either with this type of head-up display. It's not micro USB though, don't worry. Now on the top of the device, or depending on which way you have the device mounted, if you mounted it like that on your A-pillar, the right hand A-pillar, it would be on the top. You have your 4 control buttons, which are used for entering and adjusting the settings of the HUD. The P8 does also support auto brightness dimming as well, and you can see this label here on the top. There's like a little clear hole there, or underneath that clear hole is the light sensor, which is used for controlling this feature. Now there are a lot of different features, a lot of different areas of the car that can be monitored with this head-up display, especially when using it as a OBD2 controlled head-up display, which is how I will be using it and demonstrating it for you in today's video, as this will cater for the full functionality of the device. So the different types of things this HUD can monitor, measure and display the results for you are the engine cooling temperature, and yes, both Celsius and Fahrenheit temperatures are supported, your engine oil temperature, battery voltage, turbo pressure, fuel consumption, and more, including other basic features as well, such as an RPM gauge, a driving distance meter, a driving time monitor, a clock, an altitude meter, and of course a GPS satellite meter as well. It also supports performance testing as well, which I think is under there. So you can use these performance testing features as well for acceleration and braking if you need to. And because the P8 is a OBD2 controlled head-up display, that means it can also read and clear any engine diagnostic error codes with your car as well, including the added functionality of some live data parameter value readings as well. This is a real common feature now with all OBD2 head-up displays pretty much. I have tried it and it works okay, but of course, in my opinion, there are other head-up displays that are bigger in size and which are probably designed to be more practical for this type of feature. But we can try it out. We can try the diagnostic code reading now if you want to. So we'll go into the settings again, come down to OBD diagnose, choose that, then come down to scan. And as you can see on camera, it says no DTCs. So that's good. I'm really happy to see that. Now there are also several different types of alarms that you can set up with the P8 head-up display as well, such as a low battery voltage alarm, a RPM alarm, a coolant alarm, and of course a speed alarm. Now you can only set up one speed alarm with the P8, but it is both visual and audible, and it's also not a continuous loud and annoying speed alarm either, which so many of you hate. Let's try the speed alarm feature out right now actually. Okay, so what do I have the speed alarm set to at the moment? 110? No, that's going to get me, that's surely going to be a recipe for speeding tickets. So we'll bring that down to probably 45k. Like that. And confirm that. Okay. And that's it. I've got the speed alarm set to 45 kilometers per hour. You can set up the speed alarm to trigger at any speed between 5 and 200 kilometers per hour. And yes, the P8 does also support both kph and mph as well. Okay, so now that I've got it set up, it's now time to give this a try. Now, just if you were wondering and you haven't noticed it so far, yes, the P8 does have a built-in clock, and there it is right there, and it does seem to support the 24-hour time format as well. The P8 also has a built-in compass feature as well, like so many other head-up displays have these days. I have to be honest, the compass feature of a head-up display is something I personally never use, but that doesn't mean it won't be useful for someone else. And what about a fatigue driving alarm? That's also a common feature with head-up displays as well. And yes, it definitely is. But no, the P8 does not actually have a built-in fatigue driving alarm feature at all. Again, for me personally, it's not a feature I ever use, but if you do, unfortunately, it's not a feature you're going to find with the P8. Why is my microphone flashing at me like that? Sorry guys, I just bought a new microphone, and this is the first video I have used it with, so I'm not used to it yet. And so when it flashes at me, I'm unfamiliar with what it's trying to tell me. But anyway, I'm hoping when I get used to it, it's going to improve the audio quality with my content on this channel, which is something I personally am never happy with. So I hope this fixes the problem. Does the audio quality sound okay to you? If it doesn't, please let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, I'm going off topic, so let's get back to the review. Now, like most head-up displays, the P8 also has a range of different display modes as well that you can choose from. So let's have a closer look at those now. Starting with display mode 1, which is this one here, which is just your speed plus the GPS satellite meter. Then you've got your speed plus a compass, the speed plus a clock plus a compass plus the GPS satellite meter, the speed plus the clock plus driving time and your driving distance, and the compass and a battery voltage meter. This is your turbo gauge, and lastly a performance acceleration meter and a performance braking meter as well, as I showed you before. Now, two of these display modes are also slightly customizable as well, such as this one here, the speed plus GPS satellite meter. And that's because you can also change the satellite meter display to another measurement value as well, such as battery voltage, driving distance. Actually, there's heaps of them. I'll just scan through them for you so you can see. There's even some engine parameter values in there as well. So anyway, yeah, as you can see, there are quite a few to choose from. You can even have the clock displayed on the head-up display at all times, as I have had so far through the entire video actually. So that is a nice feature to have, especially for those of you who love a clock built into a head-up display. Now, of course, this HUD display only supports your basic RGB colors, including yellow and white. If we go back to that turbo gauge display mode, that's a good demonstration of that. So no, it's not as pretty as some of the other head-up displays might be, but it's not designed to be either. The display screen is too small for all of the pretty colors to be included, but as you have seen, it certainly does not lack in the display mode themes that it offers. I wasn't expecting there to be as many as there are, to be honest. That's pretty clever how they have designed all of those into a device so small. And it's also really clever how they have designed the rotatable display screen feature with it as well. I'm not personally a big fan of small head-up display screens, but the speed font of the display, which is back on the other display mode there, is still a really large and good size font. That is really easy and clear to read, and under all different lights as well. And that's an incredibly important feature to have for any head-up display. So what's the P8 head-up display here going to cost you? Yes, the P8 is definitely a very affordable head-up display, and at the time of this review, it's going to cost you about 33 New Zealand dollars. That is an extremely attractive price for a head-up display that has as many features that it does. But is a head-up display that is designed to be mounted to the A-pillar of your car going to be for everyone? Honestly, I don't know. But I have noticed it's been a very popular selling product online. So yes, maybe it is a head-up display that the majority of people would love. I personally am a fan of the P8, apart from the fact that it doesn't fit well to my right-hand A-pillar here. And I'm not a big fan of this strap attachment idea either. I don't like the look of that. But that's just my personal opinion. If it did fit perfectly to my right-hand A-pillar, I would definitely continue to keep using it in my car, because it does work really well. It's been incredibly reliable, and it does have good features. Just in case you're interested, the length of the device is actually about 100 millimeters. That's the longest part. But because of the shape of the device, that is what prevents it from being positioned perfectly on my right-hand A-pillar, because it won't go back enough before it hits the windscreen. If my car was left-hand drive, this would not be a problem at all. Now, while the design of the product will allow it to work on both right-hand and left-hand drive cars, I personally do believe it's been designed for left-hand drive cars. It is a perfect fit for left-hand drive cars. It fits perfectly to my left-hand A-pillar, as you've already seen. Unfortunately, there are not both left-hand and right-hand drive versions available to choose from, so that is not an option you have, but maybe it will be in the future. Also, please be aware that the P8 head-up display will not work in OBD2 mode with all cars, even if you've got an OBD2 socket. So I would highly recommend confirming your car model with the seller first prior to investing in it, to be sure it will be compatible with your particular vehicle. Now, I don't always remember to do this, but because of the number of times I get asked every week for how to switch a HUD between kph and mph, I will leave the instructions on how you do that with the P8 in the description area below for you, along with a link to where you can purchase it from as well if you are interested in getting a P8 HUD for yourself. Anyway guys, that now brings us to the end of another video, and thank you so much for watching. I'm actually currently working on another really big video at the moment, which a lot of you have been asking me for a really long time, and so you will definitely be very happy, hopefully, when you see this, as it's been a long time coming, and it's getting really close now. So hopefully it's just a couple of weeks away at the most. Anyway guys, if you like this video or found it helpful, then please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel, where you can watch even more car tech videos, and I hope to see you all in the next video.